Welcome to Pre-Pregnancy Glow. This is module 1, and this is the first module of our whole entire series. If you missed it, we have a whole pregnancy series because, surprise, I'm pregnant. If you didn't already know, I'm at 32 weeks pregnant as I'm recording this first one. But this has been in my head since the day I got pregnant. But what I like to do is I like to make sure everything works first, that I'm channeling, that I'm intuiting. I like to use myself as a guinea pig. I like to give it to friends who are close to me, to my team. And so far it's worked really, really, really well. Everyone's been thriving with this, and the ingredients you're going to get in here, I gave to an intuition level 5 student last year who was never able to get pregnant naturally. Never. She always had to do IVF. Not once could she get pregnant naturally. And she would have a lot of miscarriages too, even doing IVF. Well, when she got these ingredients, she got pregnant naturally without even trying or thinking about it, and carried full term and now has a healthy baby. So it's really cool how we've seen these. I could cry. I'm here, I'm 32 weeks pregnant, okay? It's really cool how we've seen these ingredients work for myself, for when I have, clients who are mentorship students or close clients in intuition, or the team or friends also do them when I kind of give them to make sure they're locked in and they're working. So we have really cool success rates with these already. So I'm really excited. Reminder, I am 32 weeks pregnant recording this. So I do have a bit of what they call pregnancy brain. I'll tell you what pregnancy brain actually is when we get to the Pregnancy Glow course. You're not forgetful. You just actually have so much going on that then you kind of lose your train of thought sometimes because your brain is things are taking up so much space in your brain otherwise. So you may hear me lose my train of thought or pronounce words wrong in here. It's just where we're at, okay? But that it will not take away my lack of remembering what I'm saying. I promise will not take away the tools and ingredients that you need along this road. And I'm super excited to be recording this while being pregnant still, because we're kind of going along with I have certain things locked in. I'm like, okay, these have been proven to work over and over and over again. Let's teach this now. And it's just that's going to kind of be how all of the pregnancy series courses are. So right now we're in Pre-Pregnancy Glow, which is build the emotional and energetic foundation for getting pregnant, staying pregnant, and staying free and clear of menopause. So menopause, we kind of added this one in. This wasn't the intention to be in this part of the pregnancy series. We were actually going to put that in Postpartum Glow, the third course of this series. But someone on Instagram, shout out to Mia on Instagram, had a really good idea. She said, can we put the staying free and clear of menopause in the first pregnancy glow, in the pre-pregnancy glow, because a lot of us want to get pregnant in our 40s or whatever. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, genius. Let's throw them in there. So we're adding how to stay free and clear menopause in here because, surprise, all menopause is also a reflection. You actually do not have to go through menopause, which is wild. So we will get to that in later modules of this too. But note that even if you are here just for the menopause, let's say you've already gotten pregnant and you're like, we're good, I have 5 kids, I'm done getting pregnant. You still want to do all these ingredients, okay? Because some of these ingredients are overlapping with the menopause ingredients, how to stay free and clear menopause and not get it ingredients. And all of these ingredients you're going to get in here are literally just making your ovaries, hormones, and uterus super, super healthy and high functioning, which you want anyway, okay? It's not going to just make you pregnant. You would have to have sex, have somebody ejaculate inside of you when you're ovulating to get pregnant. So maybe don't do that. But the people were worried, is this going to make me pregnant if I sign up? I'm like, you can't just magically get pregnant by signing up unless you're Virgin Mary Part 2, which you never know, Jesus is back on earth, Buddha's back on earth, maybe you're Virgin Mary back on earth and you'll just conceive with no action to do that. But just kidding, you're okay, you won't. But people were worried, oh my gosh, I want to take this for the menopause stuff and for the ingredients, but am I just going to get pregnant? I'm like, Well, just you have to track your cycle, like just don't have sex and let somebody come inside you when you are in your like 4 or 5 day fertile window. Super simple. That's how I've not gotten pregnant this whole entire time of my life because I've never been on birth control. So, and then the first try, I got pregnant. So it works if you just track your cycle. But you do want these ingredients anyway because they just keep your hormones, your uterus, your ovaries, your youthfulness, your vitality super healthy and high functioning. And that's a big part of not going through menopause. So that's why I'm combining these two because a lot of the ingredients overlap. People wanted just a separate menopause course. And I honestly was like, I don't want to even have you guys go spend money on two different ones because a lot of them overlap. So I just wanted them to be all in one place for you. So either way, even if you're like, I have 20 kids, like I'm not here to get pregnant, please. Doing all of these are just really good for your overall vitality, youthfulness. They overlap with the menopause ingredients and they're going to help you significantly in the career and financial area of life. Cough, cough. So you're going to want these anyway. Okay. Then, of course, after we have pre-pregnancy glow, we have then a course coming. And these are all separate courses, by the way. You have pregnancy glow. And pregnancy glow is feeling hotter than ever during pregnancy, avoiding unnecessary pregnancy symptoms, and preparing you for the most empowered birth. Then after that, a separate course is postpartum glow, and that is basically how to not be an ugly rat mom in the corner. So it's basically how to feel like even a hotter, sexier version of yourself than from before you got pregnant, feeling like you're the best you've ever been, and feeling even more like yourself after you've gotten pregnant, because usually most women tend to feel the opposite of that. So 3 separate courses, and we're starting with the pre-pregnancy glow. So module 1, we are going to talk about miscarriages. And you might be like, Allie, why aren't we talking about how to get pregnant first? Good question. I thought that's what we'd be starting talking about, but intuition had a different plan. So I always test each module and what needs to come first to be the most effective for everyone who is listening and who will listen. And when I looked in the order of the modules, I intuited that we need to do miscarrying first because even if you are struggling getting pregnant, one struggle of that is one of the ingredients of a miscarriage. So 1, you're already getting one of those ingredients. But 2, a lot of these are going to overlap, you'll see. But 2, most people who have a hard time getting pregnant, the second they get pregnant, what are they afraid of? A miscarriage, right? What is anyone afraid of the second they get pregnant? A miscarriage. Even if they got pregnant easily, what are you afraid of? A miscarriage. It is people's number one fear the second they get pregnant. And so even if you're having a hard time getting pregnant, do not worry. We are getting to that in the next module. We will get you ingredients for that. Have no fear. Don't email my team asking where it is yet if you haven't heard the second module because it's coming. Have no fear. But even if you are having a hard time getting pregnant, you already have a fear of like, oh my God, what if I do? I've already had a hard time. Like, can I even carry this baby full term? So we are going to just cut that fear out right now. We're going to cut out the actual problem of a miscarriage out right now. We're just going to nip it in the bud. So part 1 of this is we have to understand that there's a difference between a fear of something and an actual intuition, okay? For example, planes. Me, Allie, I do not. Now they're better. I feel better with planes now because I did this work. But oh my God, the amount of panic attacks I would have on planes, or like if I knew I had a flight in 2 days, I'm already panicking. Like I can't. Like I always have had this weird thing with planes. But when I looked in intuitively, I actually don't have a problem with planes. Planes are not my actual fear. So it was actually a financial area of life reflection of feeling out of control financially. And because I felt out of control financially, it made me then, whenever I got in a plane, I would feel out of control because, like, I mean, you're in a plane, you're not the fucking pilot, you're just in someone else's hands and you're in the fucking 30,000 feet in the sky. Like, you're a little bit out of control. If you, not really, because you were in control of everything, but if you feel out of control somewhere else in life, you will feel out of control 30,000 feet up in the sky in a plane. So every time before we get on a plane, I would like freak out. And I would always wonder, like, is this my intuition? Like, is something bad going to happen to the plane? But I would always intuitively look in and be like, no, the plane's good. Like, plane's functioning high. You're going to get there. You're meant to be alive. Soul contract says you're not here to die in a plane crash. Like, I would check on all angles. Like, am I meant to die today in a plane crash? I would even, like, when people were getting on the plane, test intuitively, like, how many years they'll have left on Earth, like, just to make sure. If they were all 0, then I'd be getting off the plane and we'd be having a problem. So I was like psychotic. So as I kept testing this intuitively, I was like, okay, so this anxiety is not intuitive. Okay, I'm not actually afraid of the plane. I'm having a reflection come up from a completely different area of life, and it's reflecting here. The plane is being a reflection for how I actually feel financially. I felt out of control with certain things financially. So when I would get on the plane, I would feel out of control. Well, funny enough, the more I started to feel in control financially, the less problems I had with the plane. Weird, interesting how that works. No longer have a fear of a plane. And it's been a miracle because I was so afraid of planes for so long, for so many different control issues. You know, once it was feeling out of control in career, then it came to feeling out of control in relationships, then it moved to financial. The more I feel in control of other areas of my life, the less problems I have with planes. To the point where actually literally I intuited from my higher self that I should go get a pilot's license for a passion hobby. I should go learn how to fly a fucking plane as a passion and hobby in life. And that's so interesting because it's so funny because of how I used to feel about planes. So that's how much I actually don't give a fuck, and I have no fear about planes. So I'm telling you this story because there's a difference between a fear manifesting in something, but it's manifesting because you actually have this problem in a totally different area of life. And there's a difference between you have an actual problem, like you actually miscarry or you are a match to miscarry. So there's two different components to this. There's a fear of a miscarriage, and then there's an actual, like, you are a match to miscarry or you have miscarried. Okay? Two different things. And I'll explain how to, like, figure out which one you have, or if you have miscarried, like, then you know that there's an emotional imbalance there. But if you just got pregnant and you're like, oh my God, am I a match to miscarry, or am I just afraid of it because of some other reflection in some other area of life, I'll explain how to figure that out. So we'll get there. But very important to know with this whole entire thing, even when we get into like symptoms of pregnancy or symptoms of menopause, I've noticed even with me, like preeclampsia, I kept seeing people with preeclampsia happening. And I was like, oh my God, like, is this a law of previews? Like, is this coming for me if I don't shift this emotion? Because, like, no thanks. That sounds terrible. And I looked in, I was like, okay, no, it's not a law of previews. It's actually I'm having a fear of this because I'm having a similar fear, emotional fear in a different area of life. So that's very important to know going into this. Like, is this a fear or is this intuition? Okay, where we attack those things in two different ways. Now, to be safe, you can really just do all these things. You're not really wasting your time because I've broken this down and I've gotten as few ingredients as possible to get the most results as possible for efficiency because we love efficiency. Okay, so let's go into miscarriage fear. Okay, so this is for you, really just do this anyway, but if you are just got pregnant or you're not pregnant yet, but you're afraid of miscarrying, and let's say we've intuitively checked in and you're not actually a match to miscarry, you are just afraid of it, okay? This is because in one of the 8 areas of life, which I'll explain in a second, you feel like you can't take something amazing through all its stages. Okay? You feel like you can't take something amazing through all of its stages if you are having a fear of miscarrying. So, if you are feeling like you can't take something amazing through all its stages, it's probably popping up. Probably the most common areas of your life is popping up probably is in the career area of your life, which would be feeling like you have an idea and you just feel like you have a fear of like, I'm never going to be able to make this idea happen in the way I want it to. Or in the financial area of life, I want to, for example, I want to get a new house, but I feel like I'm never going to be able to go through all of the stages that I need to be able to do that. It could happen in the physical area of your life, like maybe with your body. I want a different body aesthetic, like I want to gain weight, lose weight, build muscle, lose muscle, lean, tone, whatever. Have a bigger butt, have a smaller butt, whatever it is. Same thing. You feel like you can't take like the amazing tools fitness-wise or nutrient-wise that you've been given through all of the stages in order to get what you want. Like you have a fear like of like not trusting yourself to be able to do that essentially. Okay. And now we will list all the 8 areas of life for you. We'll actually probably just drop you a module in here right after this explaining the 8 areas of life. And that way you can know what each one means to, if you haven't heard it in my other programs, which if you are in any of my Glow Formula programs or Intuition Levels, you have heard it in there. But if you haven't been in there, we will have like a separate module for you breaking down all the 8 areas of life. Okay, so feeling like you can't take something amazing through all of its stages. That is when you have a miscarriage fear, okay? The fear is being manifested in this right now, in the miscarriage fear, or in the fear coming up, because it's your higher self's way of talking to you, okay? Your higher self is letting you know, hey, you actually have a fear and you don't trust yourself to take something amazing through all its stages in a totally different area of life. Now, what's really cool about this is we have a tool to shift this. And when you use the tool to shift this, you then start to get more confident in that area of life. And you start to feel like you can take something amazing through all of its stages in that area of life, which then you do, which then if it's career, then you start the business or you get the better job or you get the promotion. And then if it's financial, you then make the money that you deserve for it, or you start to make more money for what you're doing. If it's physical, you start to reach your physical goals. So you not only get different, better results in that area of life, where you get to shift that area of life, you also now no longer have a miscarriage fear, and you can be pregnant without worrying about a miscarriage. So it's a win-win. You get to I hate this expression, but for lack of a better expression yet, you get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Except I don't like to think about killing birds because they're cute and nice. So you get to feed 2 birds with 1 spoon. Can be the new expression. So see what I'm saying? Just like with the plane, me having a fear of the plane, not only me fixing that fear, not only helped me enjoy plane rides and have a great time and want to go more places now. I was finally able to go to Bora Bora. I can see the world now. You know what I mean? It's great. So not only can I go see the world, I can also not have a panic attack on my way to see the world and not need a Xanax on the way to see the world, which solves so many other health problems because Xanax cannot be good for you, which I've had to take on planes before. It can't be good. It's actually really bad for so many reasons. And then I'm not only doing that, but I'm also then making the financial area of my life higher frequency with better beliefs, better thoughts, better actions, a better creator field, and then I'm making more money because of it. So you really just get to feed two birds with one spoon here. Now we're going to move on to an actual miscarriage, okay? Whether you've had an actual miscarriage or you are a energetic match for an actual miscarriage. If you're like, what's an energetic match? You haven't listened to the prereqs. So go listen to them. So an actual miscarriage, whether you have had one or you're an energetic match to one, the root cause, the emotional root cause is feeling like your body, well, it's not feeling like your body. What's happening in your body is your body doesn't feel like it can nurture and grow an idea to its full realization. Okay. So your body feels that way. So that means you feel that way somewhere else. So let me explain. So your body basically doesn't feel like it can nurture and grow an idea to its full realization. So essentially, you feel like you cannot nurture and grow an idea into its full, like, actualization. So basically, you feel like you can get started on an idea, but you can't carry it all the way through. Okay? That's the root cause. I think about it. You can get started on an idea, you can get pregnant, but it won't carry all the way through. So in some other area of life, now where reflections show up, this is really important, and we talk about this in the prereqs, but just in case you forgot, where reflections show up is not where they started, and it is not the actual problem. So it's not that you feel like you can't get an idea started and carry it all the way through about having a baby. It's you feel like you can't get an idea started and carry it all the way through in a totally different area of life. It could be in career, it could be in finances, it could be physically, it could be in relationships, right? It's not that you do not feel like you can't carry a baby all the way through. It has nothing to do with the baby. Where you're getting the reflection, where the reflection is happening, is never where the emotional root cause problem is. It is never the same area of life. Okay? So this has nothing to do with you feeling a certain way about pregnancy, or you feeling a certain way about a baby, or your ability to make a baby, your ability to whatever. And it has everything to do with how you feel in a completely different area of life. So, feeling like the emotional root cause is feeling like you can get an idea started, but you cannot carry it all the way through. So then what happens is your body then takes that on and it manifests that. Your body then doesn't feel like it can nurture and grow an idea to its full actualization, realization. And again, this is popping up in the physical area of life, which means the physical area of life is not where you have the problem. Wherever we are getting the reflection is not where our emotional root cause is. So, super simple. You're gonna be like, oh my God, Allie, this is all I have to do to solve a miscarriage problem? Literally yes. Literally yes. But we have to make sure you've solved it in all areas of life where it's coming up in, because this might be coming up in more than one areas of life, okay? So, if you've ever had a miscarriage and you're like afraid to try to get pregnant again, or if you intuitively are testing that you are a match to a miscarriage. And this is where intuition levels or intuitive AF even compare really, really well. Our program's intuitive AF, which is like a 2-hour workshop, or all our intuition levels 1 to 5 compare really, really well with this course, because you're able to intuitively look in and see if you are an energetic match or not, right? But even if you're not an intuition, you can just literally do this anyway, just to one, expand your area of life where you have the problem anyway, and then just guarantee that you won't have a miscarriage anyway.